Hi, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Yes, okay. We'll wait for one more minute and then we'll get started. I see a lot of people joining, so let's wait for just one more minute. If you're not able to hear clearly, I recommend you to connect to some VPN. I'm just going to type it out for all of them who cannot hear. All right, let's get started. My name is Rahul Bausar. I'm the Cloud Director for Ingram Micro META region. META is cool. I think if everybody hears, just please reconfirm before I just get started. Okay. So just to set some quick information about the webinar, we don't have a full 1 hour length, so we'll basically have a content around 40 minutes or so, and we'll open up for question answers towards the end. But feel free, if you have any specific question, then type it out in the chat or in the Q&A section. We will make sure that the presentation deck and all the other related material related to this Cloud Awesomeness roadmap is shared with all of you, including the link of the recording. So this webinar is being recorded. So if you have anything which you missed or need more information, you should expect an email after this. There will be one automated email going out of the system, but we will send a follow-up second email, which will have all the links to the recording, to the deck, a white paper, a data sheet, and my contact details as well. If you want to reach out to me, my Twitter handle is Rahul Bausar, and my YouTube channel is youtube.com/c/journey to cloud. I hope that we will be able to share more content on video on YouTube soon in the next few days. Little bit more deep diving around the Awesomeness roadmap and what to do. So with that note, let's get started. The background of this this campaign of Cloud Awesomeness roadmap, it's something which it came out in the Cloud Summit from my leader, Renee Bergeron. She did the announcement of the roadmap in the Cloud Summit earlier this year in April in US. And now this webinar and this campaign are actually being run worldwide. So what you are here in this webinar is just the part of the Middle East, but while we speak, we are having this across the globe, and in different times, of course, led by each regional leaders there. So today what we're going to go through is, I'll just talk a little bit about what actually is the journey which Ingram went through from a cloud readiness and cloud awesomeness. What exactly is this cloud awesomeness roadmap? Probably a new term for most of you, but then pretty interesting term, very, very catchy for many of us. So I'm sure the curiosity which you have is something going to be getting out of that today's session. And then the rationale behind the actual numbers which we are talking about. So, and then at the last, we'll talk about what exactly it makes sense, why it makes sense to do a cross-sell and product multiplier model. We have a separate model. The objective of this webinar is to give you a little bit gist of what is the roadmap, why it makes sense, what's the philosophy of it, and then once you are able to judge at which stage you all are at, feel free to book an appointment or book a meeting with myself or any of the cloud experts in the region in your local countries to understand how Ingram can actually help you to move to the next level and grow your business. So that's the whole idea about it. And this is not going to stop today in this webinar. We will continue to have more series of these in the next 60 days and followed up with few months of work with you. So that's how the whole roadmap works. It's not one day's event or webinar. It's an ongoing story. So what you're looking at is a digital journey of Ingram Micro Cloud itself. Ingram Micro being a global distributor or IT distributor as a legacy for the last 35 plus years, the journey of cloud has been relatively much young, which is about 7-8 years old. And this is where, if you see, we got started with the launch of Ingram Micro Cloud, a vision, and that's where it all started. We started investing in the right specialized sales team, and this is exactly what it means to build a business. It requires a little different focus. It requires a specialized team. Not necessary that you start investing immediately at a full scale, but if you're ready, yes, please go ahead and do that. Overlaying sales organization, what does it mean is we started really building a specialized team within the region, countries, and then started educating with our all other sales teams to help us get that thing. We went ahead and got cloud compensation corrected in the organization. What does it mean is it really, we went and gave specific compensation plans to each salespeople that if they sell cloud, they will get more commissions, or they will get a portion of their commissions only if they sell cloud, and so on. Sometimes we went ahead and did the double compensation to the core sales teams to get them motivated on cloud, and started with a swivel chair process offshore, which means we get the order, we get it manually provisioned. But that was a start, and this is exactly how our journey started with the automation level. We started to select the software, we picked up a platform, replaced it with a better one, actually went ahead and built an e-commerce engine, acquired a company called Softcom. So that was the first acquisition with the cloud business, and started launching something called marketplaces worldwide. Then it came a point as worldwide expansion. So as Ingram operates across the globe, we actually have 5 big regions across the worldwide, which is North America, Latin America, Europe, Meta, and Asia Pacific. So, and this is exactly how our local engagement and team building work started. At the next stage, we wanted to go deeper into the integration and solution development. We went ahead and acquired a company called Soft Cloud IT and went further in proper integration with respect to APIs with the cloud vendors. We went through a very rigorous business transformation, which is all about how we can help partners like you enable and transform your business, launched programs, launched Cloud University, financial programs, so that we can actually land the strategy and expand it in the regions. And then came a point where we started looking at outsourcing. So we wanted to scale, but we knew that we cannot scale on our own. So we went ahead and outsourced our entire customer service. So our support is actually managed by a professional company which scales with the demand, which means today we receive anything between 75 to 100,000 tickets in a month. But tomorrow, if we hit 500,000 also, we will be able to scale it without any issues. So that's what we identified, what we could do the best, and what we could not scale very well, we actually outsourced it. So we partnered with leading companies, and that's how we went and expanded, and we are prepared for the scale of the business. And then a point came where we wanted to expand into new channels and territory. We went and acquired a company called Odin, which is actually powering our marketplace. We acquired Ensign, which is also a bigger enterprise scale platform, which actually differentiates us from the market and competition. And this is our biggest strength. So what I'm talking about is in a nutshell, this is how we went through. It took 8 years, 9 years of journey. And today what you see worldwide Ingram Micro Cloud is exactly what we have gone through the whole journey. Bottom line is it doesn't happen overnight. So if you want to build a cloud success company, you have to go through this entire journey step by step, step by step. But what we have actually got out of that is a lot of learnings which we want to share with you. So, and that's where exactly we came up with something called Cloud Awesomeness Roadmap. And this is not only about us, but this is about you guys, which is partners, our reseller base, our channel. And today, at a global scale, we are working and transacting with little over 45,000 partners across the globe in all countries, all 5 continents of the world. And what we did is we ran through a deep analysis of this 45,000 partners, and we came up with the conclusion that it is actually broken. It can be broken into 4 different stages, and that's what is the roadmap all about. The build stage, the breadth stage, the depth, and the scale. And we'll spend quite a good amount of time today talking about all these 4 stages. So if you have any questions in between any of these stages, feel free. I'm going to ask a couple of questions to keep it interactive, and it'll be great if you guys can just respond to me on the chat while we go through this. So let's discuss a little bit each stage by stage. So what exactly is the build stage? Build stage is basically, I would say, more than 65 to 70% of our partners are actually falling in this stage with respect to cloud. So whatever we're talking about is really about cloud business. So you could be a very established system integrator, very large IT solution provider in your country, but then when it comes to cloud, you can be in a very different state of the business and the awareness of the business or the maturity of the business. So when it comes to build stage, this is the stage where I think everybody gets started with. The way we are defining it is if you are a company who is selling 1 or 3 cloud offerings, when I say cloud offerings, it's about 1 or 3 products, 1 to 3 products to your customer base. And let's talk about it. The most common product which you are looking at is people pick up is Office 365, for example. So if you're just selling 1 core product, which is Office 365, and maybe a backup solution around it, or maybe a domain name or a web hosting, but not more than 3 solutions around cloud, which is SaaS solutions, and then you're growing your business. And if that's the range, then you are at a build stage. And this is where we see most of the partners are in this category. What this percentage varies. Our global numbers are about 60-65%, but I would say in Meta region, we are a little bit more. I would say majority of the partners are falling into this. I would say about 75% of our partners are into the scale where they are selling 1 to 3 products to their customers as a portfolio. So what is the characteristic around this build stage kind of business model? It's very reactive and opportunistic. What does it mean for you is many resellers and partners wait and watch, and they're still doing that. They're not going full throttle on cloud. They're looking at what market is asking, what my customers are asking. That is the only thing which I'm going to sell. So today, obviously, it's about Office 365 being pulled and demanded. So what basically is happening is the market is demanding in terms of email solution, like Microsoft is actually pushing a lot of demand, and that's how customers are actually asking that, and that's how many of the resellers are all about selling Office 365 and products around it, which is not bad. That's a very good start, but then it's all about reactively. So how many of the resellers are actually talking about products like CRM or an ERP or infrastructure as a service? That's pretty much a very limited segment, because there's no demand from the customer. Whenever you see an opportunity, then only you go and react to that. So if a customer is asking for an email, you go and sell an email. If a customer is asking for a backup on cloud, you go and sell that. So this stage is all about being a little bit reactive, and this is fine. It's being opportunistic. It's still okay. What is the other thing which a typical characteristic here we have seen is many partners in this stage are very manual in provisioning, which means they completely are okay to go ahead and do a very typical manual provisioning based thing, which means if they'll receive a purchase order from a customer, they will go back with the vendor or company like Ingram. They'll send a purchase order, and then they'll wait for a couple of days, 1 or 2 days, until this order is provisioned. They go back to the customer and do the same thing, which means by the time the customer really receives the service and gets it activated, it's about 1 week to 3 weeks, depending on what kind of solutions you're selling and when the customer is getting ready for that. So so that's how the build stage is really about, which is mostly manual provisioning, very reactive, and 1 to 3 products which you're selling as a focus. Nothing wrong in this. It's all good. That's how everybody starts. So what we basically wanted to share is 60 to 70% of our partner base is actually on this stage, and that's where lies a big opportunity for us to engage with you. For us, it's not about just putting one more product on the shelf and say, guys, go and sell. It's about how can we help you to build your business to the next level. And this is what exactly Cloud Awesomeness Roadmap is about. So let's look at the second stage. That's about breadth type of partners. Breadth type of partners are the ones who have taken their business to the next level. And this type of partners are really gone ahead and added more than 4 to 5 to maximum 10, or approximately about 10 products. These partners are the ones who are very successful in selling a solution more than one, which means they exactly know what next product to sell to the customer, what other options are there available to go and penetrate a new customer segment. For example, emails are, of course, everybody's need. If a business is there, they have a domain, they will need an email solution. But what's next? What is the next product which you can sell to the customer? And that's how these breadth partners have become mature. They have understood something which is very, very critical, and that is called cross-selling. If you don't cross-sell, the industry of cloud business is something which is all about cross-selling. So we constantly preach and teach our partners that if you want to survive in your cloud business and be profitable and continue to grow revenue without burning a lot of OpEx, then cross-selling is the way forward, and you have to learn how to do that. Cross-selling, let me define cross-selling. If you're sold one product to a customer like Office 365, what you really have got here is a relationship with that customer. Now, with that existing relationship with the customer, you can go and sell a second product which has nothing to do with Office 365, and that will add one more subscription to the whole business transaction with you, and then this third one, and then the fourth one, and so on. So one is about how many products you sell to the customer, and then how many of them you go and cross-sell to the customer. It is not necessary that it is always sequential, means you don't have to sell email first and then only something else. You can obviously go and sell any product as a first product, but the whole game is if you have more product portfolio with you, then you go and pick up the second one and cross-sell to the customer. Breadth partners really crave for automation. Now, automation is the only way to scale the business and survive in the cloud industry. Why this is important? Just a minute. Sorry. So why automation is key? Let me give you a simple example. The smallest product subscription which you could potentially sell, it can be as low as $1 per user per month. Now, how do you manage this kind of figures? How do you manage this kind of scale and calculation, which is, if you have to ask anything, please raise, and then feel free what you would like to ask, and put your questions on the chat. I'll be happy to answer that. I see a few hands raised. So yeah, going back to automation. So just imagine today, let me ask you a simple quick question to everybody who is on this. Please respond to me on a chat just with a number. How many customers do you have at this point in time who are using cloud? Is it 25, 50, 100, 200, 300, 500? Please, if you can just put some numbers, that how many customers do you have? 15, 20. The number of customers, not the users, the number of customers. A range, just a range. This is number of companies who have purchased from you any cloud service, one or more services. 40. Anybody with 50 or 100? So most of you have responded somewhere between 15 to 50 customers, which is very much manageable. Let's do the math. The math is very simple. One customer have purchased one service from you, like Office 365, for any number of users. It could be 10, it could be 100, it could be 1,000. But likewise, if you have 50 customers, then you have to manage that many subscription. You have to track that many subscription. Now let's multiply this number of customers from 50 to make it 500. Now just imagine 500 customers, each with 10 users. Now how many transactions you have to manage? Imagine the problem getting multiplied with the fact that all of these customers are willing to or wanting to go for a monthly payment. Then imagine how many invoices you have to generate every month and track. And all these customers, about 20% of these customers, will constantly ask for addition of users, reduction of users, changing of plan. It becomes very messy. You cannot manage it. A normal human being cannot manage it on a spreadsheet. It will become very complex to manage it. Now, having said that, there are ERPs, which was in the old days, I would call it as traditional ERPs, which was to work in a very straight line model, doesn't understand subscription. That ERP also cannot track this because those systems were not, can be managed by our CSP Central portal. Absolutely right. Yes, you're right. CSP Central portal is the great example. It can be managed, but guess what? We are talking about 4 to 10 different products or more than one vendor. Microsoft CSP is one piece of it, which of course offers you all the products through the CSP portal. But then when you start selling Symantec, Dropbox, McAfee, Kaspersky, Veeam, Veritas, Acronis, you get into a situation where you need to manage all of these in one place. So What I'm trying to come to the point is automation will become inevitable today or tomorrow. So in some point in time, you really have to look at how can you manage this business, because for a reseller or a partner's point of view, you don't want to look back on the vendor's side. You want to look at your customer. If you have 50 customers, one subscription on average per customer, easy to manage. If the same number keeps going up, let's say 200 customers, each customer is having an average of 3 to 5 subscription, then you again go into the complexity. So automation is the key, and what you can do here is Ingram adds a value by looking at marketplace. So if you are not already a marketplace user today, please use that. Marketplace offers you all of these in a single place. So you can just manage one portal with all the products, all customer subscription, everything is there. And we just launched a new UX one, which is a much better experience to manage everything. So what else a Breadth Partner does? Breadth Partner does is is digital marketing. So they take the digital marketing very seriously. They know that the customers who want to buy the cloud solutions are the modern customers. They can't be sold by doing it old school telecalling only. You need to go social selling. You need to do digital marketing, and that's another area which a Breadth Partner does pretty well. Our base worldwide, about 30% of our partners have reached to this level. They sell more than 4 to 5 products today, and a pretty good mix, and they started doing cross-selling across the board. Then comes the Depth Partner, and Depth Partner is about not just the SaaS solution, which is pretty easy to sell. They start building the capacity to go after the data centers. And this is the biggest untapped opportunity in the customer space. Today, SaaS is obviously the most easy to sell, convince, because it's the talk of the town. Infrastructure as a service is also the talk of the town, but then it requires a different mindset, requires a different capacity to go and tap that market. So if you are already have built a good, decent amount of portfolio on your SaaS, if not, then start doing that. But if you want to go to the next level, it's not about just adding more and more SaaS products, but it is also about adding infrastructure as a service into your sales portfolio. And that's where you start going really little deep into that. Cross-selling becomes mastery for you, so you start going really strong on cross-selling. Today, cross-selling is the way. The reason we are stressing a lot on cross-selling is very simple math, that when you acquire a new customer, it's easy to acquire a new customer, but it does cost money. When I say cost of acquisition, it's about how much time you spend in acquiring a new customer, new logo. But then guess what? Cross-selling requires less efforts because you already have a relationship. You know the decision maker, you know the environment of the customer. So cross-selling becomes easy. So cross-selling has to become the mastery at this stage, where you have 10 plus SaaS solutions, infrastructure as a service, and going deeper into the customer. Here, automated provisioning can be taken to the next level, and Ingram offers the whole suite, because we know that when you grow as a partner, when you grow the business, a point in time will come where you start probably taking some of the vendor relationship direct. That doesn't mean that our relationship with Ingram and the partner finishes at that point in time. So many of you might have gone or have been discussing in past with Microsoft, for example, to become a tier 1. That doesn't stop our relationship. We actually offer our marketplace automation tool, which is Cloud Blue, to all those partners who want to go direct but still want to use our automation. But guess what? It's just one Microsoft as a vendor, but there are still ecosystem which you can still buy from us, and our platform can support all of that. We started really doing something called extended catalog service, which I'll talk about in a minute, which is hybrid catalog. What does it mean is if you buy Cloud Blue platform and if you're big enough to deploy your own platform, the platform can straight talk to us as Ingram, and you can still procure the softwares you want to go through us as Ingram and still have some relationship direct with vendors like Microsoft if you want to actually go to that route. But that's the scale which we're looking at. So a breadth partner is the one who has really gone ahead in building the business, has a need of his own automation system, or he can leverage on our white label services also. And here it's not about only digital marketing. Here is about integrated digital marketing, which means you're leveraging system intelligence to automatically send out an upsell email campaign or a social campaign or a cross-sell campaign, knowing more about your customers rather than doing a blind campaigns to the customers. So overall, worldwide, we have about 9% of our partners are actually falling into this category, have really matured and gone ahead and went very deep into the depth kind of partners. And then the last comes is the scale partner. Now, scale partners are the same characteristic, very close to depth, but then the depth partners have mastered everything. Now they focus on the same cross-sell, automated, integrated marketing, outsource the catalog. But then here, the scale partner is, how can I differentiate? Let me put it in this way. The biggest differentiation between a scale partner and depth partner is a scale partner is not focused on selling cloud, but they have gone to something called the digital transformation and digital experience to the customer. And this is exactly what you want. Being a cloud service provider, you really want to actually help your customer, not just about selling them one or two or three or four products. It's about getting them onto a digital transformations mode, which is exactly what is your role. But that comes with a lot of investment that goes to the next level, offering customers a complete self-service experience and 100% cloud-based end-to-end solution providing, which includes sometimes development also. So that's where the four different type of scale, and we have very limited partners at this stage. About 1% of our partner base worldwide is actually at scale, and here you're talking about a full throttle number of people focused and going deep into the customer. So that's exactly what is the Cloud Awesomeness roadmap in nutshell. So if you look at how do you grow your business, this is exactly how the roadmap looks like. So you start with build, move, become a little bit better in terms of automation, add more portfolio onto your product line, and then go deeper into cross-selling, and then improve your automation, integrate with your hybrid catalog if you want, or have your own marketplace and e-commerce engine. And at the last, you really focus on providing a customer the entire digital transformation experience. So what's the rationale behind it? We did our numbers crunching, and this is exactly what it comes out. So if you really see the small business growth which is there out there, the small business typically is 0 to 99 kind of employee base, and there we really see about 30% of the business is really going strong interest on the cloud and hosted services. The medium-sized business, which is 100 to 99, the interest is much stronger there. It's about 56%. And average number of cloud services by the company size, if you really see, again, it's about 3.9% and 8.1% businesses really go after the cloud services. So the adoption between the small to medium businesses on the cloud is really strong. And the top services, if you see, again, this is all about our data, which we have collected from across the globe, from little over 3.5 million seats, which we are clocking at this point in time, and with IDC around SMB Cloud. So the top three services are Office, Google, file sync and share, data backup and archiving, and web hosting. So Uh, but in reality, if you really see the roadmap which we want to put across, it's revolving around cross-sell and upsell strategy. The value here, what you can really get out of the cross-sell and upsell, is about boosting your revenue and profits. Uh, it's pretty easy to go and keep getting new customers, but I'll tell you, if you keep going in that path, you'll need more people, you'll need more sales force, and the chances of you to lose a customer on the renewals are a little bit high, which is, we call it as churn rate. But if you start doing cross-sell and upsell, the amount of people you need will always be optimized. The number of customers you lose will be always less. The average order value, or we also call it as ACV, average contract value, annual contract value, is also typically going up. So our statistics show that a customer who probably started with you with $500 a month, or annualized roughly around $5,000 to $6,000 for a small to medium customer size, if you effectively go and do a cross sell with more than 3-4 products or subscription to that customer, you can really grow that annual value from 6,000 to easily 20-25,000 per customer. And that extra revenue, you don't have to come and spend a lot of money to acquire that extra revenue. You can use your existing relationship and same salespeople. So the ask here is, when you have your sales teams, give them a little bit one more next KPI, or ask them to say, sell one more subscription to the same customer. May not be related to the product, but something else. So if you're selling Office, sell them some security, sell them some collaboration solution, but something else, one more as a next step. So overall, it really has a lot of benefits, which is lower churn rate, which I spoke about, increase in customer LTV. LTV is lifetime value. Let me explain a little bit on lifetime value. If you sell one subscription to the customer, an average timeline a customer might live with you is about 2 years at this competitive stage. But if you sell him the second subscription or the third product, total 1 or 3 products to the same customer, the chances of the customer to stay with you increases by 100%, which means the customer will stay with you at least 3 to 4 years of timeline minimum. So you really need to start doing upsell and cross-sell. And some statistics are here that the biggest e-commerce companies' revenue is about 30% from upsell, cross-sell. The question you should ask yourself is, if you are doing X revenue today, year on year, how much of that revenue is coming from cross-sell? If that revenue is less than 10%, then you want to have a conversation with us to take it to the next level, saying, how can I grow that 10% to 30%? And a good, decent number is 30%. So you want to go after that mark of 30%, which means if you're doing $1 million on total business with 1 or 2 products, then at least $300,000 in the following year should come from upsell strategies, which means cross-sell strategies, which means you need to get that second and third product sold to your existing base. So what is the journey which will look like in terms of the small business from, this is the customer small business, and how we want you to at least take that first steps. The easiest thing which you could do is to sell a email solution. That's pretty much very no-brainer at this point in time. And I think the market is getting driven by Office, Google email, and so on. The obvious next step, which if you not have thought about, is the security piece. Now, I'm not talking about selling an antivirus in a perpetual license. I'm talking about selling anything and everything in a subscription model, because that will increase the stickiness. So pick up the second security thing. The security could be in email security, it could be a desktop security, it could be a server security, it could be a web security, but some security solution, and there are plenty of them available with us as a portfolio. The third step, which is typically focused on collaboration. Collaboration could be a development opportunity for you on SharePoint kind of thing, or a Dropbox on file share and sync and similar stuff, which basically will drive more collaboration within the customer's organization. The fourth or the next obvious step is a backup kind of thing. You could start with very obvious is backup of the emails, but then don't stop there. Don't stop the discussion only at emails. Go one step beyond, saying, ask your customers, what about backup of your desktop? What about backup of your servers? Can we take the copy of your existing backups to the cloud? And that's a very good discussions to have. You will be surprised that your customer is willing to talk about website. At time, when I was selling as a partner, we started doing a lot of websites, but then a point came where I did not push to go after the website kind of business. But then guess what? Many of the customers today are very much focused on website. They want their websites up and running. I'm not talking about web designing here. I'm talking about hosting the website in a very scalable and a protected environment. It has become a reputation situation where customers' websites should be always up and running. They should not get DDoS attacks. They want it secure, and cloud is the perfect example. If your customer is a retail, then they definitely want to go after that. Every customer is looking at opening and offering a customer portal, and that is a great opportunity for you to go and have a cloud discussion there. Move to the next level with CRM, Dynamics 365, Aptivo CRM, and many more customer related products which we have. Financials is again Dynamics here, and a couple of more products, again Aptivo for a small business, and service desk kind of discussion. So what we're trying to do is to give you a rough, fair guide. This is not the only sequence you can go after, but this is a fairly proven method and steps to go after your customers one by one. And here is some more details in terms of cross-sell and multiplier model, which means if you sold them one product, go after the second and third and fourth. And this is our worldwide portfolio. We have more products. Some of them are not here in the meta region, but then what I'm trying to give you a list of a spectrum which you can go after. This deck, we will make it available, and we'll also share the total list. You will be surprised how many vendors we have in the MEDA region which offers cloud. It is actually 31 vendors which we have, and you might be only talking about Office 365 or Microsoft. We have total 31 vendors which you can engage and discuss on how you can build this cross-sell model for your customer base. So that brings to my end of my deck. We are open for questions. We will send you a deck, and in the email you will find a link to pick a 30-minute slot with me to go have a deeper discussion with you on having specific discussions around your business, if you are at what stage and so on. So I'm going to launch a quick poll. I would appreciate if you can just answer while we are doing a chat of question answers with you. There's a question, are you handling AWS, I mean work email service and IaaS in the CSV model? I believe you're asking two steps here, two different questions. The first is, do we have AWS, Amazon Web Services? Coming soon, stay tuned. As far as work email services and IaaS from AWS, it will be part of the portfolio when it comes. But other than that, if you're looking at email services, we do have Office. Google is also coming in soon. So the whole idea is we want to bring the portfolio to you, which is available in the market. But if it is Microsoft centric, then of course the whole portfolio of Microsoft is there with us. Any other questions? Feel free to ask questions. We have about 20 minutes to discuss. AWS, no, right now we don't have AWS. Expect some news in this quarter because Ingram worldwide, almost two continents we have AWS, but we will get it soon in the region. We are actively talking. I would appreciate if you could take time to go through the poll questions. It is really helpful for us to know you better. There's a question called, will it be part of CSP? I'm assuming you're asking, will AWS be part of CSP or any other model? It will be part of CSP kind of thing, cloud services provider model. Absolutely, yes, when it is launched. It will be on our marketplace for you to go through it. And absolutely, we will be sending the recorded link of this webinar shortly after this session. I'm looking at the poll, and with no surprises, the build stage is about 63% of the partners are still at build, 26% are at breadth, 1% is depth, and 1% is scale. And this is no surprise. This is how the regions worldwide is also a pattern. So what would be great is if you could check the emails when you get it. Feel free to book a meeting, 30-minute slot of a quick meeting with me, with your right stakeholders in your organization, and we will actually be able to help you how to take the next step in terms of going and picking up the next actions which will move you from build to breadth and breadth to depth and to scale. We have a white paper which I would like to quickly show you. This is part of the program which we are running right now, and this exactly talks about a nice detail level. So if you would like to share this awesomeness roadmap details with your colleagues and management teams within your company, you will get the link of the white paper. It's about 9-10 pages of document, but very nicely talks about all the 4 stages and what it requires to move to the next stage very easily. So I'm going to end the poll. Thanks a lot for the poll. I'll try to show the results. So you should be able to see the poll results yourself. So build stage, as you saw, many of you are at build stage. I encourage you to reach out to me or any of my team members in your country. Feel free. My contacts are there. I'll just put up it again for you. In fact, I'll try to type my email ID for you. So just feel free to drop me an email. So feel free to drop me a line, and I'll be happy to sit down, work with you to take your organization to the next level and share more details about it. So if you have any other further questions, feel free. I can be online for another 5-7 minutes. All right, then. Thanks a lot for joining us today. We give you about 9 minutes back to you. Thanks a lot for joining, and we will continue to be in touch with all of you through email communications on a regular basis. This awesomeness roadmap doesn't stop here, and it will continue to keep adding more and more content. There's one more question. In your opinion, how can we empower the sales team to work on this roadmap? And this is exactly what we talk about, Mohammed. One, we have more content coming in the next few days, but I would encourage if you could quickly set up one meeting. I'll be happy to spend about an hour with you to understand where is your sales team currently, at what stage, what is required for them to look at moving to the next level, which means if you see, you can relate to our roadmap itself. So let me just bring you this slide. So if you're looking at my screen, if you see on the launch stage of Ingram's journey, we did a couple of important things. We hired some specialist people, but it was not about just hiring the right sales teams, but then to really scale it to the core business and to leverage everybody, we did some important changes in our organization about cloud compensation, which means if your teams are just being told to go and sell cloud, it's not going to work. You need to compensate them rightly so that they can give a balance between the traditional business and cloud business. And then if you have an extended sales team who are 100% focused on the traditional business, but are constantly managing a customer, then definitely that's the point where you start looking at double compensation or giving them extra incentive to go and get you the cloud lead there. So we should be able to talk and identify what needs to be done with your sales team. So I would encourage you, we will reach out to you. I have your name. We'll reach out to you if you need more information and how can we help your sales team on this roadmap. All right, so thanks a lot, everybody. If you have any questions, you have my contact details. Feel free to reach out and ask for any help. We are here to help you to build your cloud business and grow your business. So we will send out all the information and take it out from there. Thank you.